Hey, Stephen, good job describing your intent here. This is fantastic. We instructors learn a lot about how you're learning based on what you write, as much so as your visual assignment. So, and it's true. It is really true. So I think it's a great practice to uh, to submit a very detailed written observation based on the assignments, not only for this class, but for all of your classes. This is a really great practice for students to get into. Stephen, let's go ahead and jump right over to the ad. I've got you up right here. I think it's a really effective ad. Nice job. And just a couple of things I want to recommend. Um, Okay, so you've got you're starting some really good alignment. I think the page has wonderful hierarchy. Really nice job there. I think it's a little bit cluttered in some areas, specifically right here. A lot of elements seem to converge, specifically typographic elements seem to converge right in this area right here. And I think it's a little visually heavy right there. So we're going to kind of redistribute some weight, and I think the results are going to be quite astonishing, actually. And I think you'll agree, once we just do some minor changes, you're going to see that this is going to be a much more acceptable, I shouldn't say acceptable, I should say accessible ad. Okay, so let's start with the address. The address up top it wants to be centered, but it's not. This margin's a little bit less than this one, so you want to check that, make sure that's perfectly centered. Good job with the headline subhead combination. I love the scale relationship. I think it definitely points to a good hierarchy. I think it's a little high in the composition. I would move it down a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use this man's elbow right here as our left margin. Okay, it doesn't have to be exact, just somewhere right around there. And that's where we'll start the type. And that's going to lock this image in with the type, and it's going to create enormous harmony. Just that little bit of a shift to that, moving that left to align it is going to make a huge difference. Okay, that's going to take care of that redistribution of that weight right there. Now, all we have to do right here is just a couple of things. This type is just too prominent. It's all cap, and it's set at the different color, and it's also indented. I don't recommend that. What I would do is I would reduce the size, set it in the same typeface as you have here, the same style, but just use all cap for that. And I would reduce the amount of text here. It says, enjoy 45% off on your first day for families and a free spa treatment for parents. That's a mouthful. I would just say, save 45% plus free spa treatments, and use that as your kind of your segue into the body copy. And then this has to come down in the composition as well. What I would recommend here is bringing this down to till it starts about right here. Okay, that man tail. I think the body copies. I think the type size is a little large too. You might consider reducing that. You could consider printing this out in black and white and taking a look at the type size. You'll see if it's too big. Quite often, the type size looks drastically different on screen than it does on print. And in print, it's always much bigger. So you'll see what I mean there. So we could reduce that size. And then also, you might even consider changing this to white type. And the reason I say that is because we're going to move it down in the composition. Part of it is going to lay over that portion, that texture portion of those trees. And legibility might be compromised there with the purple type. So think about that. Other than that, I think we are good to go. I think it's really a sharp ad. So just a couple of minor changes, and I think that we'll really be able to redistribute this weight in a successful way to make the ad a little bit more accessible and much more harmonious. Try it. I think you'll like it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Thanks very much.